sometimes
Stephanie
people agree.
with Vanishing Seattle is next. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Vanishing Seattle, over the past few years, many of Seattle's communities have experienced unprecedented gentrification and displacement, not only of residents, but long-standing businesses and institutions that support our social fabric and cultures. The development that we're seeing is for the most part producing housing and goods that are out of reach of, and in many cases contributing to the displacement of low-income, working and middle-class families and seniors, immigrants and people of color, artists and creatives and service workers. So basically anybody who's not pulling down a six-figure salary. So many residents feel that what's being created isn't actually meant for us. My question is, as mayor, what steps would you take that are holistic, community-driven, and value cultural preservation to ensure that all of our communities, especially prioritizing those hardest hit by gentrification and displacement, can survive and thrive in Seattle?
Yeah, thank you. And I think that answer, there are many different pieces to dealing with that question. One is that with the housing growth, we have to look at how we absorb that housing growth throughout the city. Because otherwise it's not surprising at all that it's flowed into the central area, which is so close to downtown. So we need to, every neighborhood does need to take on housing growth in some way or another. I just think that's only fair. So I think that's one piece of it. The other piece of it is we have to look at how do we, support the financial empowerment of the people that already live in a place. And that's through things like wages and benefits and secure scheduling. And I've been a supporter of paid sick leave, family medical leave. But I think you have to go another level too, which is how do you support small businesses as well. And one of the things I'd like to do is do an inventory of the city. I mean, like we've inventoried downtown for historic buildings. Why don't we inventory our communities for their assets so that we can plan for preservation of them as part of the planning that Irene was talking about as we move forward. Because there are trade-offs we make when we do neighborhood planning. I mean, we need to look at that as well. So those are two things I would focus on. I also think we need to create places for entrepreneurship. Like one thing we did was the mobile food trucks, which is, in part, it's cool to have a mobile food truck to eat from. The other part was it's a very low-cost entry for an entrepreneur.
Can I get to?
Sure, you can go to it, but if I can, one sentence, which is, I would love to do something like Pike Place Market in every neighborhood where small entrepreneurs could open stalls and do work. That's something I want to work on.
So I just want to address the fact that gentrification first began here in Seattle when the city pushed out millions of Native Americans from the city. So I want to know how you plan to not only get people of color involved in the development processes and that inventory on the cultural and small businesses, but how do you plan to include the Native community as well?
All right, that is over time, so if you just take a few seconds, please.
I think what you have to do is I think the answer is yes, we will. And that's what we try to do on things like the Youth and Family Initiative or Safe Communities Initiatives or Road Safety Action Plan. You have to go out and ask people from the community to get involved and hire people from the community to do your outreach so you know that you're reaching people from this community as part of it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie. Next is John Lisbon with Seattle Fair Growth.
Hi Mike, how are you doing?
Good.
Thanks for filling out our survey, which can be found at seattlefairgrowth.com. So now that Bertha has emerged, no, I'm just kidding, I don't want to.
I would love to talk about that if you want. But
No, I really don't.
Yeah, no.
Deja vu all over again.
Yeah.
So many of us have lived here for over, for our whole lives, or for me, 20 years. When I came here, Seattle was rated, I don't know if you remember that Newsweek article, it was the most livable city. Since then, with all the population growth, all the wealth that's coming here, which is great to see, we're also seeing thousands of people without homes. We're seeing the worst traffic in the nation. I live in Ballard. We've seen how that's been kind of run over by poor development or poorly planned development. When you think of livability, when you go to sleep at night, what do you think livability is, and what would you do to maintain our livability in Seattle as mayor?
Sure. So, I came out here in 1989, you know, and I actually remember when I first came across the I-90 bridge and saw downtown, you know, like that was, I'd never been to Seattle. That was really special. And was with the woman who became my wife. We have 3 kids. I rented in Wallingford. We then bought a house in Greenwood. I couldn't afford to buy that house now. I could afford to buy it then. And one of the first things in my neighborhood was we didn't have sidewalks. That's why I was going to the neighborhood planning meetings. What does it take to get sidewalks? You know, so I organized our neighbors. We got neighborhood matching fund grants. We got a neighborhood street fund grant. We figured out how to do it. To me, that was like fundamental. Like I should be able to walk to the neighborhood grocery store with my kids and not fear for their lives because cars were going by at 40 miles an hour. So we got a park in the neighborhood. Greenwood Park was purchased. I worked on the subsequent parks levy, the 2008 parks levy. I was put together the neighborhood coalition to get it on the ballot over the mayor's objection, invested in it. I've always been a believer in bike lanes in part because it's about livability for me. I've always supported transit, and we are way, way behind on transit. Because what we know with automobiles is, with this growth, there's just not enough room for all automobiles. We have to use our streets more efficiently, and that means transit. Public safety, it means livability to me. You should be able to feel safe in your neighborhood, no matter what neighborhood you live in. And if you call the police, you should feel comfortable that you're going to be treated with dignity and respect. So all of these things, I mean, I could go on. But these are things that I believe in and things I've tried to work on as both an advocate and as a mayor.
Just a quick question, since
14 seconds.
wow,
Go for it.
since you were mayor and the north area still doesn't have sidewalks,
Yeah,
explain that. I mean, you're in a position.
Sure, and that's absolutely fair, and that's absolutely fair. What I learned was that a mayor has power, but not nearly as much power as you think. And certainly not as much power as you think when you're in the midst of a deep recession, as we were. But if you look at my capital investments, I did do the seawall downtown. We built Rainier Beach Community Center. We redid this roof on this building. We rebuilt city-owned buildings. We renovated Hangar 30. We did Linden Avenue, where there are thousands of seniors. I did everything I could to steer capital away from the big downtown projects and into neighborhoods, and that was my attitude. There was only so much money, only so much time, and a hell of a lot of opposition from the downtown